Hey, so welcome to the Revenge of the Show. This is, it's a little late. I wanted to get this show on the road with about the Mighty Eighth. I'm an airplane nut. I love airplane movies and I love movies and all the stuff that you see on my station. And I want to talk about this fan freaking tastic show that's on Apple. I mean, get it just for this show for a little while. I don't work for Apple, but this has been one amazing ride to see, no pun intended. This show depicts the 100th Bomb Group. They were called the Bloody 100. One story has it to where, which is a bullshit story. Story goes, and this pertains to this episode, the Rosenberg mission. So this mission, allegedly at one point, one of the bombers is in a lot of trouble. So it puts its landing gear down. This is how the story went forever. And that was like a signal to like people in the Luftwaffe or anybody flying that if you put your gear down, you gave up. You're going home. You've had enough. And then the false story goes that they all of a sudden raised their landing gear and started shooting at the Luftwaffe, and the Luftwaffe took a special interest in that bombardment group, and which is not really true. I mean, it's been disproven that happened. Not only that, many people say that you're flying, you're at pretty great, you're going pretty fast. And you're seeing that formation coming this way. You're not sure which group that is. And the 100th Bomber Group had D's on their tails and stuff like that. But they had a lot of bad luck at the beginning. But I hate to say bad luck, but they had some. They took a beating early on. But that was every bomber group, especially going with the rest of the war, took a beating. But this Rosenberg mission is very, very, out of the 24 planes that took off that day from that group, they lost 9. That's a lot of people. This was a really different type of mission that they tried doing. They tried doing a stagger out. I'm not going to give away too much stuff with it, but when you got 9 of 24 planes going down, let's put it this way, the Air Force, the 8th Air Force, lost 26,000 men were killed. 26,000. I think they had like 47,000 casualties or something like that. So that's an incredible amount of young men that died. And what this show does more than anything else, and it's starting from the first episode, the startup of the engines, how long does it take for that type of stuff, how cold it is. I mean, immediately the first episode, and I'm not going to give anything away. There's a moment where it's like, wow, it's cold, because it was cold. At that altitude, it's really cold. This mission, the flak that you see, and throughout the show, the flak that you see, is from the photos that I've seen, because I've never seen flak in person. There's not many people alive today that have seen flak in person, but from the photographs and the film footage that I've seen, the flak, it looks like it's real flak. The CGI and throughout the show is fantastic. There's some parts where it's not as great, like some of the landing parts aren't that great, but otherwise, look, there's not many B-17s left in the world. I'm going to put somewhere over here how many are left flying. And these are the early versions. And so, boy, I don't, there can't be, maybe there's one in the world flying. I don't know, let me know. The cat can't tell me shit. But this is a show that cost like $250 million. There's a moment in the show where somebody gets killed, and I'm not going to say who. But the real story on this person getting killed, after all, a lot of these people, they died, few people from the airplane lived, but the real story of this important moment, this important character dying, is done really, really well. When he does crash the plane, he just goes, it's like he knows he's gonna die. And this show doesn't, doesn't go back to that. It could be even more violent, but it was so violent. When planes fall from 5 miles from the sky, and people are trapped in an airplane. And people are stuck on the ceilings. You read this stuff about how people are stuck in the ceilings. This is one of the first books I've ever read on the 8th Air Force. And I think many people, it's been around for a long time. I think many people who are into airplanes and watch my channel, I mean, I build models, modelers and stuff like that, really get to know their subject matter. They're into this kind of stuff a lot, especially World War II history and stuff like that, and I'm into that kind of stuff. But it really shows the fact of escaping from a B-17 was really tough, any bomber. And B-17 was easier to get out of than the B-24. I'm not trying to, say the B-24 was a bad airplane, but it was harder. It was a harder airplane to escape. But I digress. The character who dies in this movie, what happened was that these guys, they got hit, and there's a like some type of fire in the flight deck, and one of the crew members climbs out of the airplanes. This is witnessed by other airplanes. Witnesses saw this. He climbs out, but he can't get out of the hole, a little hole on this airplane. So he has to take his chute off, and he climbs out on the wing, puts the parachute on, and unfortunately, when he left the wing, he hit the tail, and they found him weeks later, I think months later, hanging from a tree. And this, I think almost like the writers for the show were probably like, people aren't going to believe this. These young men did things that were unbelievable, and the horrors that they saw were unbelievable. Think about it. 26,000 aircrew killed. I think it's an important story. I think it's a story that Americans should watch, because Americans did this at that time. We became the strongest nation on this planet Earth, and we did not try to take over the world. And it was an amazing thing, a moment in this country's history, to not go and try to take the world and not try to take revenge on everything. And our soldiers, Marines, Navy, Air, you name it, there are some atrocities done once in a while, a very, very small percentage on the American side. But you look at those powers that were trying to take over the world at that time, the atrocities that they did were unfreaking believable. And these men sacrificed their lives to bring justice to the world without taking it over. And they were young. I mean, these guys were young. So anyway, I'm going to do another episode of this show when it comes out. This episode is it's an amazing episode. I loved it. You like Band of Brothers or anything else, you're gonna love this. It's like 12 O'Clock High, the movie, is one of the greatest movies ever made on air warfare. This is right there in spades. This early bomb group, only 4 of the 38 co-pilots from this bomb group made it to 25 missions. Early on, World War II bomber pilots was a super, super dangerous activity. Can I say that? It got safer later on, but at the beginning, oh my God. Did you want to get back into that airplane? Especially after you see these horrors? It was a horror show. Anyway, thanks. Like and subscribe. I hope I didn't go on too long, but this is one damn good show that you should see. Thanks.